This is the BOYA Notra, the world's first AI note taker that works with regular conversations, phone calls, and Bluetooth calls. I wanted to see how truly useful it was in everyday life. So for the past few days, I've been putting it in every scenario I could imagine, and here are my thoughts. Just as a quick disclaimer, this video is sponsored by BOYA, but every experience and opinion said here is my own. So let's get on with the video. So in a world where being in a meeting or a lecture means either paying attention to the person speaking or taking notes and missing everything they said, BOYA decided to come up with a product that solved exactly that. The BOYA Notra is meant to be turned on, left on in the background listening, while you focus purely on retaining as much information as you can. And when the recording stops, you'll have an easily accessible summary, mind map, or transcription of your entire conversation. And it even includes a small to-do list at the end for the things you mentioned you wanted to do, but you were eventually going to forget. And well, now that I mentioned the situations you could actually use it in, let's talk about it. The first category where I think the Notra would shine in is in either corporate meetings or really important information-heavy conversations, where usually you'd either forget half of the things mentioned or write down just the other half. With the Notra, you can honestly be really calm knowing that without even paying attention, it's doing all the hard work. And speaking of not paying attention, college lectures. By far one of the biggest use cases for this device. With the 10 meter or 33 feet range that it has, no matter in what hall or classroom you're in, the Notra will make sure all of your notes are up to date. Or what about interviews? When the interviewer mentions heaps of information about the company that you're probably gonna forget 5 minutes later. And lastly, and honestly, I think one of the biggest use cases for this device is just real life conversations. I think we honestly overlook how much information we say on a day-to-day basis. And although I don't think recording every single conversation is necessary, there are always a few a day which are important to keep track of. And when you just leave the Notra in the background and you forget it's there, you'll see the real value to having it around. Apart from the real world use cases, the features in this little device are actually pretty cool. The Notra has 3 modes. Ambient for just turning on and having a conversation with anybody, either in person or online. Phone call, where you can actually connect it to your iPhone via a MagSafe adapter that they give you, or Bluetooth calls, for those calls that you're obviously not having in person, but that you still want notes on. And for all modes, you get range and clarity of up to 10 meters or 33 feet, which for your day-to-day needs is more than good enough. As for software-wise, it supports over 140 languages. It can give you full transcriptions of your conversations. It will obviously give you all of the summaries. And at the end of every summary, like I mentioned, it has a to-do section, just in case you forgot to keep track of everything you needed to get done. Battery-wise, it's more than good enough for a full day of listening and summarizing. In a test that I did, I ended up using it 1 hour and 40 minutes non-stop on one recording, which ended up draining about 9% in battery. So if we take that same usage, it would mean that on one charge, the Notra could last at least a good 18 hours before getting low. So the battery life is definitely there. Looking at the build and design, BOYA have done an amazing job. The little square they designed is fully metallic in a soft or brushed or matte kind of finish, with 4 rubber corners on the bottom to help it with friction on different types of surfaces. On the left side, you are gonna have your charging port, which is USB-C, and on the top, you're gonna have the actual grill where the mic goes. Like I did mention previously, there's also a MagSafe magnet on the bottom in case you do want to attach the adapter onto the Notra and then your phone. And on the main face of the device, you obviously get the slider to choose what mode to put the Notra in. And the big button on the top right is to start and stop the recording. It's all pretty straightforward. One issue that could obviously arise with having a device recording and transcribing important information is the security issue. But BOYA handled this by making everything encrypted. So what's on your device is only yours. Value for money wise, there's a lot of it here. Where most AI note takers will charge you a subscription, BOYA gives you 65 gigabytes of storage for free, which is honestly a lot for just audio recordings and transcription. So with all of that being said, who's this actually for? Well, it's for people that have important conversations, lectures, or meetings on a daily basis. I'd imagine this is honestly a great product for any type of student, businessman, or corporate worker, or even if you're just a person who doesn't want to necessarily be paying 100% attention to every conversation you have. So guys, that was my review of the BOYA Notra AI note taker. Do let me know in the comments what you guys think of the video, of the Notra, or any other opinions you may have. If you did like the video, hit the thumbs up button, and if you aren't subscribed and you'd like to be, you know where the button is, and I'd highly appreciate it. If you haven't become a member of the channel yet, you're missing out on exclusive perks that very few people have. So click the join button next to the subscribe button to see all of the features you could be getting. And if you are interested in seeing more content of me, my Instagram will be linked on screen and in the description down below. I thank BOYA again for sponsoring this video. And well, since there's nothing left to be said, I'll see you guys in the next one.